Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up right now. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up right now. So this is money and how I lost my mind. Let's go. First, I said let's start with a little bit of a biography, a little bit about me and me. And we're going to talk about a little bit about my childhood. Where did this all start? How did we begin? Mental illness, money makeover, mindset, miscarriage, all that. But that's all, folks. So let's start. We got the timer clicking. Bam! To make sure we're on time. Less than 15 minutes, because I like to hit it and quit it. Get into it, do what I gotta do, get in there and get out. So when I was a child, I was always taught to do my best, and I have notes. So try your best, do your best that you can do. You can be anything you want to be when you grow up. You are amazing, you're beautiful, you're lovely, you are a woman of God. Then my innocence was taken as a child. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, right now, for right now, we're going to talking about how that kind of shifted my mind. I used to want to be a teacher. But then the kids used to make fun of me because, I was a little bit bigger. At the time, I was small and I was really skinny. And I would sweat a lot. I didn't know that hormones and body and moods and personality, I ain't know about all that. So then they said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my grandmother looked at me crazy like, what you want to be? And I just looked at her. I said, Jesus. That's what I want to be. But she didn't know what was going on. She just knew I had an attitude. She was like, okay. So I'm thinking that's the end of it. We done said what we want to be when we grow up. Things of that nature. I'm looking at myself while I record. So if you wonder what I'm looking at me. Because I look good. Very, very good. So I was thinking to myself, okay. So then I thought that was the end of it. But then one day we was in church and she said, my baby said she want to be Jesus. I'm like, Grandma, have you lost your mind telling them people what I really think? I know I sound crazy up in this piece. But thinking I'm Jesus. And one person said, you didn't want to be Jesus, you want to be Christ-like. You want to walk like him, talk like him, have the Holy Spirit like him. But at the time, I'm a child, so I can't explain all that. I didn't know the right words to say. So then she was just like, how you want to be Jesus, baby? Tell them how you going to be Jesus. And I'm like, this is not rehearsed. And I said, well, I want to decrease the pain and increase the happiness. And if I can learn, anybody can learn, because it take me a long time to learn. I have a learning disability. I didn't know at the time I was dyslexic. I didn't know at the time I had a personality disorder, a mood disorder, depression, anxiety, all these things that are labels. I ain't know about that. I just know I was different, and everywhere I went, there was a problem. Everywhere I went, there was an issue. So I went up 400%. My grandmother and my other grandmother lived a mile apart. My maternal on my mama and my paternal on my dad. So I would walk a mile, think about it, walk a mile back, think about it, walk a mile back, think about it, walk a mile back. The first time was my mom. Just get in there and do it. Just jump in, do what you got to do. Then my dad. Okay, let's logically think about this. Then my grandmother. Because I said so, let's get it done. And then myself. Now, what do I think? Now that I thought like my mom, my dad, my grandma, not me. It's me. 400%. Most people barely put in 50%. I'm putting in 400% on the jump. So when I lost my mind, I was overworked, underpaid, high stress, but still blessed and favored. And this is your girl, Coach Classy Sassy. I help the stressed, blessed, and people in a high mess. So if you need my coaching, hit me up now. Let's keep it moving. Then there was universal utilitarianism. I did what's greater good for the good of the group. That's why I do this video, because I'm like, why are you embarrassing yourself? There's people out there with mental illness that's scared, that's crying, that's by themselves, antisocial, introverts. And they're thinking to myself, I can't do this alone. I learned how to do this. I went through therapy, I went through training, I went through education experience, I went through all that. But back to when I was a child. 6 months with my mom, 6 months with my dad. So to me that was normal because I was 50-50. And they didn't really argue around me. So the first 6 months with my mom, private schools, military schools, higher end quality service. And then I moved with my dad. I had the neighborhood. I wasn't in the hood, but I was in the neighborhood. And we was by the railroad track a little bit further down. And went to the school where we were bused out to get desegregation so we can intermingle with the other students who didn't look like us. And I was thinking to myself, okay. Then there was a pace. They said I was out of order. I was not really connecting with all my students and stuff like that. I wasn't hitting the social norms, but education, I was on point because in my first 6 months, we did stuff that the other 6 months, we did it 2 years later. Like, we were advanced. And I always was really smart. I had a 4.6 GPA in high school, a 3.3 in college with F's because I fell in love and fell behind a boy. So you knew I was on point, always. Then when I was to sit down and stuff like that, they used to be like, seats taken. And I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to eat my lunch and do what everybody else do. So I'm thinking, maybe I should go with the popular kids. No, seats taken. Maybe I should go with the sports players. I run track. Seats taken. Okay. So I was with the outcasts. I'm like, well, they ain't going to tell me I can't be there. Then they talked about, doing things to the school. And I said I wanted to be on the right side of the friendship just in case they did. So I'm thinking to myself, I can't even be with them. So I'm crying one day, crying my heart out. And I'm like, I'm by myself. I ain't got no friends. Nobody want to be with me. I don't know what to do. So I put my head down. I was crying. And this girl was like, why you crying? And I'm looking at her like, nobody wants to be with me. Even though in my head I rehearsed everything I was going to say. But she was just like, why not? I said, because nobody likes me. She said, girl, I don't even like myself. Come on, let's play. And we would share homework. She would do all of the even. She would do all the odd. I would do all the even. We would come together. We would learn together. But then, my mom wanted me to be a dancerette. And I was in high school. And I'm like, I don't know how to dance. I'm going to be a dancerette. I'm always late or always early. Like, I'm thinking like my mom, go ahead and get in and just try. Or do like your dad and like wait in the water. You got to wait on your turn. So I always was early or late. So I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do? So she said, okay. So I joined and made the team. Alana would stay late. She would do it, learn it, teach me, then we would do it together. Learn it, teach me, then we would do it together. So I'm thinking to myself, okay. So I'm in my 5 minutes. Bam. On time. 15 minutes or less. But I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do? And then my mama was like, I was a captain. You should be the captain of the team. I'm like, Mama, I cannot be no captain. I do not. I barely even know these dances myself. I'm going to teach somebody else how to be a captain of a team. And so I was there. And I tried to be a captain, and all the girls laughed at me. And my coach was like, oh, thank you for trying. I'm looking at her like, okay. So during the middle of my routine, I'm doing a dance, got the flag, learned the routine, trying to do it. And I said, I'm the captain of mess ups. I'm always messing up. I just had a breakdown, like, I don't know how to do this. This ain't for me. And then I walked out. And then it was tryouts. Everybody put their name on the paper. I didn't want to look. And before I looked at the paper, she said my name, government, not Coach Classy Sassy, but my government name. And she said, is the captain on the team. And everybody looked at me like, what? Her? I'm like, me? Me? She was like, she is what you call the demerit recorder. And I didn't know what a demerit recorder was. And what that is a person that says all the mess ups. Because I knew all the mess ups. I was the captain of all the mess ups. And she said, and not only is she the demerit recorder, she is the one, me, that will say whether you will or will not dance. Because if you make too many mistakes and get too many points, you won't be dancing in the different field on the football field with everybody else. And when they get ready to go, you ain't gonna be going. You gonna be staying here because the demerit recorder said no, because she's the captain of mess ups. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. I know when we mess up, because I messed up a lot. And we talked a little bit about my childhood, what I do best, what I want to be when I grow up, how I want to be Jesus, how you make lemonade out of lemons, the dance to Rhett, and me being the demerit recorder instead of me being a failure, the 400%, how I try and give and give. So when a person say you ain't try hard enough, they better doing 50 and I'm doing 400. I work 400%. Most people work 8 hours. I work double that. And I volunteer. I work on myself. And if I'm good, the team good. And then I delegate. 6 months with my mom, 6 months with my dad. How I was a little bougie and ghetto. Had a little bougie side, a little ghetto. How we learned how seats taken, I was an outcast to the outcast. The outcast didn't even want me. But I had a friend who didn't like herself. And then she liked me. And also, how we did homework together. Bam. Because you work on your strengths instead of your weaknesses. I needed help with homework. She needed help teaching me how to dance. I was always early or late, never on time. And finally, how she taught me how to love me. So when you guys watch this, keep an open mind. How can a person lose their mind? First, they lose themselves. I'm going to say that again. If you ask, how can a person lose their mind? First, they lose themselves. So you guys, for these 37 seconds, be blessed, be loved, and most importantly, be you. Coach Sassy Classy. And if you want to get in contact with me, leave a message. And my website is beacons, beacons.ai/coach_classy. Hit me up. Deuces.